mom gives birth in secret and then she throws her baby in the dumpster. So the girl behind it all is this high school junior named Alexis Avila. She's 17, living in New Mexico, and she's about to make one of the darkest choices I've ever talked about. So one day, Alexis and her 16-year-old boyfriend Steven decide to try out this TikTok trend. You know, the one where you take a pregnancy test just for fun? And surprise, surprise, it comes back positive. So now they're staring at each other like, what do we do now? Obviously the right thing would be to tell their parents, but no, they're too scared. So instead they decide, let's just ignore it. Like the problem's gonna magically disappear on its own. I guess they really didn't pay attention during the birds and the bees talk, because that is not how babies work. They tell themselves, look, we'll just wait for the perfect moment to tell our parents. But that perfect moment never comes. And so in the meantime, Alexis starts hiding the whole pregnancy thing from her parents. She starts getting stomach cramps, back pain, missing school, missing work. And when her parents ask what's wrong, she just shrugs it off and says, oh, it's just stomach cramps, I'm fine. And they believe her. At some point, Alexis and Steven get into this huge fight. And I don't know exactly what it was about, but things get so heated that Alexis's mom actually decided to call the cops on Steven. And my guess is, because of that fight, Alexis decides to break up with him. And when Steven asks about the baby, because remember, he still thinks she's pregnant, Alexis decides to make up this big lie and says that she had a miscarriage. And I'm sitting here like, Alexis, what is your plan here? Like, you do realize you're gonna have to give birth sooner or later, right? But anyways, now Steven thinks that this whole nightmare is over. Like, he doesn't have to stress about how he's gonna tell his family that at 16 he got a girl pregnant. So months keep passing, she eventually turns 18, and Alexis decides she's gonna keep pushing through with this lie. And then one day, on January 7th, 2022, something happens to her that she can't just ignore. Alexis wakes up in excruciating pain. She's clutching onto her stomach, she can barely breathe, and she runs to the bathroom. And that's when she realizes she's in labor. But instead of screaming for help, instead of waking up her parents, she locks the door and decides she's going to do this alone. And I can only imagine she's in that bathroom in so much pain, just crying, sweating, trying to keep herself quiet so that way nobody can hear her. And after hours of this, she actually manages to give birth to a baby boy. Now this is the part where any sane person would grab the phone and call 911. But Alexis, she looks down at this newborn baby in her arms and decides she's not keeping him. So she wraps him in a towel, shoves him in the backseat of her car, and drives far, far away from her home. She pulls up to the back of this department store. She gets out the car, grabs a garbage bag, and puts the baby inside and just tosses him into the dumpster like he's trash. Mind you, he is still alive and crying at this point. And then she hops back into her car and just drives off like nothing happened. About 6 hours go by, and I would hope that she came back, but no. The baby is still in that dumpster, still alive and crying. And then, by some miracle, 3 friends who planned on going dumpster diving show up. So they're digging through the trash, hoping to find some expensive items, maybe to resell. But while they're looking through the bags of trash, they hear this kind of faint whining sound. At first, they think it's an animal, maybe a puppy stuck in a bag. So they start ripping bags open, following the sound, until finally, they find this one bag that's tied up really tightly. They tear it open, but the second they do, they stop. They're immediately like, what the hell? Because inside was the newborn baby boy that Alexis threw away. Like, how can you actually be so evil? He is freezing, he's barely alive, trying to cry, gasping for air, and they're just in total shock. So one of them, without even hesitating, scoops him up and holds him against their chest to keep him warm. Within minutes, paramedics arrive to the scene, they rush the baby to the hospital, and somehow, against every single odd, he survived. Like, if those 3 didn't show up when they did, that baby would have been gone. So now that police know he is okay, they decide to check the back of the department store cameras to see who could have done something this inhumane. And not only do they see Alexis throwing her newborn in a dumpster, they also see her license plate. And to make things worse for her, when police check the bag, they find a whole bunch of items that literally say her name on it. So by that point, she's kind of screwed. Police quickly track down the car's license plate, and late at night, they go to her house and knock. Her mom and dad open the door, and they are confused because everyone knows police don't just show up to your house to chit chat. So her parents naturally have their guard up, and they're like, what's going on? And that's when police straight up tells them, we are investigating your daughter Alexis for abandoning her newborn in a dumpster. Her parents are shocked. They're like, no, you must have the wrong person. Our daughter is not pregnant. But the cops did in fact come with receipts, and and they showed them the video of Alexis in her car. At that point, there's no defending it, so they go inside the house and they wake up Alexis, who is sleeping. Like, how do you sleep after that? She's brought to the police station for questioning and basically tries to lie her way out of it. She starts crying and saying, I just found out I was pregnant yesterday, and that when she suddenly gave birth, she didn't know what to do. She's just a baby and panicked. Girl, we all know how that baby got there. You're grown, so act like it. But her lie did not hold long because they talked to Steven, and he tells them everything. How he truly believed that she had a miscarriage and that she knew from the start. And with all of that, Alexis was immediately arrested, and in 2023 she was charged with attempted and abuse. But you guys, she had the nerve to plead not guilty. Obviously, they didn't buy her sob story and she got sentenced to 16 years. But here's the part that really pisses me off. 6 months later, half a year, Alexis gets released from prison.
What the fuck?
Why? Because her lawyer said she didn't get a fair trial. Please tell me why the court actually bought into that BS. So just like that, Alexis walks out of prison free while waiting for another trial. And now, fast forward like 2 years, it's 2025, and Shorty is still free. So she did what she did and only served 6 months in prison for it? That isn't even as long as a full-term pregnancy. Please tell me you're just as mad as I am. But let's end on a good note. The baby did make a full recovery, you guys. And Steven, his biological father, takes him in and names him Saul. I am genuinely so glad he manned up, unlike you know who. Anyways, important note, ladies, if you get pregnant, please talk to somebody. I'm being serious. Do not, and I repeat, do not pull an Alexis or Alexi. We've been here before. I love you guys. Mwah. Group hug.